What is going on, Cowboy Nation? How are we doing tonight? And of course, the rest of you guys that are in here to kind of poke fun at the Dallas Cowboys, you guys are more than welcome as well. Like always, my name is Primetime Phil, and like always, my co-host GameTime Bryan. Oh, let's point the other way. My bad. GameTime Bryan. What's going on, Bryan?
Primetime Phil, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight?
I know myself, I am doing really well. Some of my teams are winning this weekend. I'm hoping the Cowboys can finish it off with a great Sunday game. I know a lot of Cowboy Nation is kind of nervous about this game. I don't think me and you feel that way, but I can understand why. I can understand why a lot of Cowboy Nation can feel that way. How are you feeling in general on your side about it? I know you were talking on Mark's channel, but what do you feel on this channel? How do you feel it, man?
I feel good. I see James Nooks in the house. What's up, James? James likes a lower scoring type game. He likes Dallas winning a close game, but it's scary. I don't. I could see why people are saying that, but I think this is the week that their defense really goes off. Maybe pick six. I know I've been saying it, but I mean they're leading the league in sacks. I think they're going to get some sacks. He's going to run the ball. We're going to tackle him behind the line of scrimmage. I see Turpin getting a touchdown. Listen, I'm tired of calling for the special teams.
Hey, you're eventually going to be right.
Yeah, I know. So I'm going to. I ain't going down that road, but I think he could actually score one on offense. I think he's going to see more offensive snaps because of some of the injuries. So we'll get into that when we get into the game. But yeah, I feel fine, man. If we blow this game, that would be upsetting.
Yeah, there's a lot of Cowboy Nation that would get excited about the fact that you're saying Turpin is getting more involved. I know when I was seeing them in practice, he was getting kind of jammed onto the line in the line of scrimmage. So I think maybe some of that's the reason why you're not seeing as much playing time for him. But I still want to see him and get involved. I still want to see him be a decoy because even if he's getting jammed and there's still something there where you're distracting the safety. Something's happening where it's going to open something up. So I am all for hoping that they throw a screen to him. But again, I've been preaching about this last week, and I think I'm going to continue this through the rest of the season. Let's throw some screens that are 5 yards or so downfield and kind of set it up. That way, it's not being set up as a negative play. And let Kellen Moore kind of, if he's going to do his stupidity, at least be positive about it in the sense that at least if he's going to get tackled, he's a couple yards downfield. But I know when it comes to the rest of this game, now come on. Everybody saw how the Bears have been playing this year in some of these games. They lose to Washington. I think everybody kind of forgets that they struggled with the Carson Wentz team, where Carson Wentz has struggled with every other team. So Chicago before this last game, of course, they gave it to the Patriots. But the Patriots are kind of having their identity issue right now when it comes to the quarterback and who's going to lead them. Even Belichick kind of going back and forth. So, I mean, I think leadership has a lot to do with that. Some coaching there on the defensive side there because obviously, Fields' strength is his running game. And there's a lot of stuff that you can kind of stop him with. Yeah. But how do you see us as a, run, defense that struggle with the run? How do you see us handling a mobile quarterback like that?
We're going to be fine. We were fine against the Eagles, and this offense isn't on that level.
Hey, Angelica.
This is a guy who will...
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a guy who will just drop back and run the ball. We're going to treat him as a runner. He will... Listen, is he going to have a play here or there? Possibly, but...
Yeah, I'm with you too.
We don't really have to worry about the read option run as bad as Phillies is. Montgomery will beat you. I would be more worried about the screen, like how they could do what Hurts did, maybe suck Parsons in. But all in all, I really feel good about the game. Listen, I can only go by how I feel. Could I be wrong? Yeah, I don't see Dallas losing.
Jack.
They need to come out and put some more points on the board. We can't be down 6-3 at halftime and expect to do what we did last week. So
yeah. I mean, when I look at this team, obviously the biggest thing on our defense is obviously stopping the run. But when you go out there, and I'm not saying that he's the answer, but I like the move in getting a Jonathan Hatkins because he is, you guys were talking about it last hour. He's a guy that holds up. He goes through the A and B gap. They need somebody like that to help stop that run. He's somebody in the middle, that's in there. Obviously, you got to remember, what are we giving up for him? A 6th-round pick with the trade of a 7th round that we get later in that next year. So you remember, this is not going to be the middle part of your franchise, but he's great for a rotation. For what the Raiders were using him all the time for every snap, I think using him in situations is going to be beneficial for him, and it's going to be beneficial for us, because if we're just putting him on more on the running downs, then obviously that's going to be so beneficial for the linebackers. So I'm happy with that move. Obviously, I want to see some more moves in the offensive side of the ball to kind of get some stuff going on there. But again, I don't care what the rumor is, and I don't care what you get in this offense when you have a Kellen Moore. Not being able to scheme guys open, I think that's always going to be your weakness. So, how are you looking when it comes to these matchups going into this game against? Because when I look at it, I mean, I see us with a superior talent compared to the Chicago Bears. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Our defense. This was going back to early on in the season. Our defense. The fact that we have the defense that we do, we're going to be in every game. Yeah, I don't think Chicago is going to be able to stop us. Now, listen, there's no Zeke, there's no Noah Brown, but I think you'll see Dak more in rhythm this game. They're going to run the ball. Look out for the backup running back out of Florida.
Malik Davis.
I mean, he's going to see. Yeah, Malik Davis. You're going to see run there.
And I see a lot of similarities between him and Tony Pollard. So, I mean, you don't get that when people talk about Thunder Lightning, but you don't see that two different styles of running back. You see a lot of the same. So, I'm with you. I'm excited to see him play. So, yeah, go ahead. Continue with that.
Yeah, I don't see, what Zeke does is when it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, he'll go get you the first down. So it'll be interesting to see how they go about that. That's why I say it's more important. The defense is to dominate, get turnovers, create short fields, put points up on the board fast. If this is a 3-point game at halftime, then I still think we could win, but it would cause me some concern.
Yeah, we're struggling offensively and stuff like that.
Yeah, let's get up 10 points. Make 14 points, make them one-dimensional. I don't see Bears scoring many points.
Yeah,
every game.
Yeah, I mean that's where I was looking at with the corner situation. I mean, you have right now, there was teams running against Diggs because they were kind of really questioning whether he was coming up and tackling. He kind of showed a little bit of difference now, but you look at Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown has that weakness right now, so I think. When you don't have as much of a threat to the pass of the Chicago Bears, I think maybe putting a corner that can tackle out there, because you don't really have to worry too much about the throwing ability of Fields and this wide receiver core. I'm not saying that there aren't people going to get plays. I mean, they are in the NFL, but it's not the main feature. I mean, that this running game is going to be the concern of us stopping it. So, what do you think about the corner matchups in here, and what do you think the strategy should be there? Do you think Diggs should stay on somebody?
Yeah, I think Deron Bland's going to play the slot. I think you'll see some downs out of Kelvin Joseph. I think Anthony Brown has to step up. I think Diggs will probably get a pick. I'm not worried about it. I don't think Malik Hooker's going to play.
No, really?
So
okay.
That's interesting to me. I just have a feeling he's not going to play because he was limited all week with a hamstring.
Did Bell come? Did Bell active? Do we know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if he is. We'll have to wait and see. What they're going to do there. But yeah, we still got Donovan Wilson. I think you'll see McQuamu play. That's what I was telling you earlier. I think that the Bears might get a big play. Like Mooney might get a long one. They always seem to give up one big play, whether it's Montgomery or Mooney. I don't think we're shutting the Bears out. I see something.
No. They're going to be able to do something. I think it's one of those things. It's like when we talked about, we had to go against McCaffrey and we had to go against Debo. We knew that these guys were going to do their thing, and I think that's what you'd look about with Fields. I mean, he has the ability to move around and kind of run, but to me, I feel more like when Chicago kind of game plans for him to run in a situation. Maybe the play calls for it. Obviously, it's more organized. But when he starts running around compared to this defense, where this defense can get to the quarterback very fast, I think that's where it's not going to go very well for the Bears because this defense is great at that. You want to run the ball against us, and with Hatkins being that addition, that could be a whole different story because if they can get that running game to kind of get seize up, this defense is going to be even extra scary. I think it gets me excited.
I think this is the week. I think this is the week where I don't think they're going to run the ball on us. I mean, Hankins is really good. Let's not forget that Damone Clark hopefully will be activated. He's a stud. I'm dying to see what he can do. I'm dying to see what he can do with Parsons on the field. They are similar builds. He's actually bigger than Parsons, but runs just as fast as Parsons, which is scary. We need to see what he can do, get him on the field. He ain't going to take anybody's spot away. So it's not like he's going to take Van Der Esch's spot. He will see. Hopefully he's active and he'll see some plays.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm saying this whole running. I mean, look, listen, they can break one, but I don't see them running the ball on us. I see a dominant performance on defense. And if not, then it's cause for concern, but I'm not going to concern unless it's time to. I feel good about tomorrow. Let's look at some of the chat here, Phil.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at as well. We got Roland that came through. And, of course, Teddy Boy is talking a lot in the chat, so that's always welcome. See, Glimmerman says use the linebackers.
In the house?
Use the linebackers and bring safeties up, stop the run and stuff the run. Make them pass. Yeah, and I agree. Force them to pass. We will get beat by embarrassing play here and there. You're right, and that's how sometimes that happens. It's just all of a sudden it's just something gets flung up into the air and. Either there's a pass interference or something like that kind of causes that. But I really look at this defense being able to kind of really shut them down. So previewing this game, I mean, I feel great about it. I know there's a lot of Cowboy Nations tweeting and again after the Bears' performances last game, but you got to remember they're kind of like was Dallas, where Dallas you can see the concern where for 3 quarters you're not putting up as much points, and obviously when the defense starts doing its thing, all of a sudden the fourth quarter the offense starts doing its thing. So if this offense does feed off, this defense is going to have to lead in general through the rest of the season. So I understand where people got excited about the whole Bear thing, but again, remember Chicago was actually having trouble against New England for a while there until towards the end of the game. So, there's a lot of similarities. So when I look at the other games, that's where I also judge the Chicago Bears. Obviously, you can be in a winning streak and you can have everything going, but also I think that had a lot to do with the Patriots having an identity crisis. It's like and Ruben Walls, I feel the Cowboys defense will feed tomorrow. That's the thing. It's like Chicago does give you. It's like those other quarterbacks. Fields is going to give you a turnover. It's just will this defense do what it does and get greedy and start getting more and more turnovers. So how many sacks would you say that this defense would get?
Yes, he might call down whether or not Fields has the ball in his hands. Fields is going to have someone in his face at all times. Yeah, I agree, Mike. That's what I was telling Phil. I'm seeing a similar thing with Jack Meeker. We stuffed their run for real. They will be a neutered pup. Yeah, that's it's amazing where I'm going with it.
And Mike Aldana also says this, and I think I like to jump on this as well. New England's a crap team right now, and that goes to show. Like if you look at Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay has its struggles, but Tampa Bay wasn't that in the beginning of the season. So it's amazing how a team can go in its ups and downs, and when you're scheduled to play them, that's going to matter a lot. So, if we play Tampa this upcoming week, I feel great about that matchup, especially with the struggles that they're having. But, it does matter when you play a team, injuries, all that kind of stuff. But, again, even with the dominant performance that they had, I still love our chances going into this game. What matchup do you say on offense would you be more excited about? What do you think is going to be the driver of this game for the offense?
Well, we have to run the ball. So
I'm going in red.
I think that we might see Pollard. I I don't know if anybody knows all these Pollard people. I love Pollard. He's he hasn't had more than 14 carries in any game
Yeah.
in his career. You got anybody aware of that? Tony Pollard hasn't carried the ball more than 14 times in any game. What I would be worried about is having to pass pro and getting down. So it's important. I think it's going to be one of those short games. But I think in order for us to win, Dak has to play big. Everybody said run the ball, run the ball. We're going to have to run the ball. But ultimately, I think we're going to have to score via the pass, which to me brings in all personnel. Without Noah Brown,
and that's what Mike Adana was saying right here. Get both tight ends going.
Like Turpin, get involved, get him in the game offensively for some snaps. Let's see Jalen Tolbert for crying out loud, and the tight ends. So I think running the ball is going to be good, but I think it's really important that we get short fields and let Dak go to work. I think Dak's going to have a big game tomorrow. People are like sleeping on him, and that's fine. Everybody's talking about run, but I think ultimately we're going to score some points via the pass. So I don't think you'll see a lot of running touchdowns. I think we're going to score via the pass. We may run to get down there, but they have a good defense. They're going to have to throw the ball. So I like our matchup, believe it or not, against the Bears throwing the ball with our tight ends, with our backs out of the backfield, and our receivers. But I have a question for you. What's the deal with Neville Gallimore? Right? Like we talked about it on Mark's show. Anybody really know? I mean, I know. I saw Orland said that he's in the doghouse, but you got to get over the doghouse thing.
Yeah, I saw something. It was somebody was posting that that Neville had taken all the Dallas Cowboys stuff off his Twitter. I don't know if that says something too. I mean, is he on the trading block?
Because he went out and got Jonathan Hankins.
Yeah, he's all butthurt about it and stuff. He's like, it's
all his feeling.
I mean, to me, it just says that I love guys like Osa and Neville and everything, but you guys are obviously not getting it done when it comes to stuffing the run. So if you have to go out there to get somebody, and that means that, you're going to get less playing time. Then that means you just need to step up. That's what that means. Don't get don't get upset about it, and so it's a lot of these guys like Neville. You don't know what's going on with
out of shape.
Yeah, Jalen Tolbert. What's going on there? Like I think again you're at the end of the season. You'll hear
there's a lot of questions still to be answered, and which is good. Like I had made a comment. I don't care right now. Let's just win ugly and keep putting the wins behind it. Get Dak games under his belt. Let's go into the bye 6-2. That's all I've been saying. I said 6-2 with Dak playing every game. So we're gonna get to the bye at 6-2. We can't worry about who's in front of us right now. We have to win our games. I don't need to hear we're in third place. It'll play out fine in the end. Let's just win the games that we're capable of winning. I see. Mark Hutchin, he wants to see Malik Davis, and I'm with him. I think Malik's going to see some time tomorrow.
I agree.
Where Malik struggles is pass pro, so that's what I'm saying. If we have a lead, we're going to be fine. It doesn't matter who's back there. But if we're down, then it's a little sketchy because
neither one of them can block.
So
well, maybe you just put a tight end back there.
I think we need to be more aggressive because if you're the Bears, what are you going to do? You're going to stack the line and make you throw the ball. Well, okay, we're going to have to throw the ball. Ultimately, whether it's to our tight ends, that's why I like the whole 12 personnel, at least to start it off.
Yeah, and if you're going to try to stop the run, you're going to need a blitz. And I think passing game, obviously, we understand that Dak is really amazing at the blitz. It's just when they don't blitz, that's where he has a little bit more. I'm seeing some questionable reads. I just don't know if he's seeing things the whole field sometimes, or he's making a prior decision prior to before he even snaps the ball. He already kind of knows where he's going to go with it, and so instead of reading the defense, where hey, let's get it to the open guy. You're not seeing that. So, I mean, he needs to kind of go through his reads, but he also needs to read it. I think I was seeing even on 105 where they were talking about where he was going through his reads. He saw the guy open, but he chose not to throw it because he was going for the bigger play. He went to the next person. When he went back, the guy was covered, and that would have been a first down. So, he's making decisions out there that are also, maybe he's just trying to win it all instead of just trying to, again, just take what the defense is getting. So when you saw in the second half of that past game, he was doing more of that. He was taking what the defense was giving him. He was running a little bit, passing more shorter yardage, and so I think that definitely needs to be the game plan because, Chicago's not going to try to get beat deep, but they have the ability to kind of get pressure, and he's going to leave somebody open. So I think I agree with you. Brian definitely is going to come into their passing game. Do you see the tight ends getting involved? Do you see 12 personnel? Do you see Dalton Schultz?
I see Jack Maker saying, I saw someone mention 31 personnel. I heard 13 personnel, Jack. And, with 13 personnel, there's one running back, 3 tight ends, and 1 wide receiver. Which that's fine too. Could you imagine? I think, like last week, we're like, Detroit's not a very good defensive team. Chicago, they lost Robert Quinn.
Yeah, that's a big move for them. For them, it's a big move.
Is when, we struggle when our left tackle and right tackle have to go up against a speed rusher one-on-one without any chips, which is why I think 12 personnel, even that 13 personnel where there's 1 running back, 3 tight ends, and 1 receiver. You could do that at times. I think it's key to establish a lead to do stuff like that. Then you could let Kellen Moore screw it up by doing trick shit. But, I think that's what you want to do. Do 12 personnel and 13 personnel. Let's really try and run the ball, set up play action to open the game up. Then once it's open and we have a lead, I think that's when we're going to have more success throwing the ball. Yeah. I'm not worried about it, but anytime you have a guy that's calling like the way Kellen is, we all have to hold our breath and make sure, because I think negative plays is what's going to hurt us.
Yeah. If you can give
sweeps, 8,
If you can do the meat and potatoes up and down, north to south type of running where you're just running straight, I think that's what's going to hurt this. And you got, this offensive line can do best is obviously run the ball. So, I mean, you hear some people obviously that are upset with, some of the play on the offensive line. But, I'm liking that it's better than last year. Yeah. Towards the end of last year.
Well,
that was really.
Jack Meeker said, he thinks that's what it was, like 13 personnel.
Oh, yeah, 13 personnel.
Yeah, and listen, there's ways to do it, but they're not doing 12 personnel. So do I think they're going to put a 3rd tight end in? They should, because they have to look at what they have, and what's going to be successful and get a W, and that's what they should do. But, I think what happens is Kellen Moore gets in his playbook, ooh, that looks sexy. Ooh, look at this. That looks good.
And you can't.
We got holding calls, and we're going the other way.
Yeah, Mark hits it right there on the head, and it's in this category. Defense is good. Offense is what worries us. And yes, you're right. If you don't just kind of do your thing and let the offense run the ball, play action, let Dak roll out, those things that they're really good at.
Play to win the game.
Then obviously, it's not going to happen. I mean, that's where Bryan is definitely on there, where he's saying if it's a close game by halftime, that means your offense did not do its job and your defense did. So I mean, this offense has
keep going to that well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because eventually it is going to bite you in the ass at the wrong time. And this is what. We knew that this defense was going to be leading the way, but we obviously want this offense to at least be middle of the pack, where you're like, you can drive the ball down the field, get some points. You're not obviously scoring 40-something, 50-something points that you were years ago, but this offense can score points. You do have stars on here that can do it. It's just sometimes
I'm not
the
worried
mental.
Ultimately.
Yeah, and that's
I'm
what
not
I like.
Worried ultimately, Phil.
Yeah,
I think it's huge that Deke sits this one out, because our 2 toughest games, believe it or not, you can say what you want about Green Bay, but I think we're going to beat Green Bay in Green Bay. After the bye, we have our 2 toughest games left on our schedule.
As you're talking about
season,
Zeke,
I was like,
yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead before you go back.
Yeah.
You were talking about earlier in the season about the schedule at the end.
Oh yeah, well, because I'm hearing everything twice, so it's kind of rough. But as long as I was saying if we split, but We very well can win both of those games. If we can get to 6-2, come out and go to Green Bay. We should win that game. I'm sorry. Coming off a bye. Then we go into Minnesota. Minnesota, for tie-breaking purposes, that's going to be a big game.
Yeah, I agree too.
That,
yeah.
If we can somehow get to 8-2, man, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but you can't worry about the division right now. The Eagles' schedule is literally, they're playing the Sisters of the Poor. It seems like for the rest of the season. They're home against Pittsburgh, and then they're at Houston, which could be tricky, but I don't think anybody's expecting Houston to beat them. And they've been dodging the injuries. I want to see them. I want to see the Eagles do, or anybody, do what we've done so far this year. Lose their starting left tackle. Okay?
Lose their starting quarterback.
Lose their starting quarterback. Now we're losing our running back. I mean, you saw what happened when the Eagles lost their right tackle for one half. Like a quarter and a half. You saw that their team fell apart. So,
as we're talking about this injury stuff, I think this is with the whole Zeke being out of this game, I agree with you. Even if he is healthy, you're hearing, oh, well, he still could, even though he had no. I mean, I think this is what happened last year. Save him from himself, just push him to the side, and say just rest, dude. And then you have the bye week. You can rest during the bye week. So it's a lot of resting time. I think I like that whole plan. It's just here is where I go back to the beginning of the season, and where I was very on board with Rico Dowdle because he was a Zeke type running back. So when you lost Zeke or you allowed Zeke to sit, you would have at least Rico coming in to relieve him. So you could have that bruiser still, and you could still have that guy with the home run. But now Rico is just, obviously, like last year, he's on the injury reserve kind of whole thing, and he's not available. So to me, I have to look at that and look at the previous year and go, can we really rely on this guy to be a backup to Zeke? Or, do we need to get somebody else out there that can back him up?
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with Zeke is there's no doubt he could play. He played with an injury last year that was far worse. This is just a slight, but it's sore. But listen, man. I'm telling you, this defense is not going to let anybody slide. They're going to come after the Bears. So I feel good about the game. I'm just telling you, I feel real good about the game tomorrow. I'm not worried. And if something happens, then shame on us.
Yeah,
we need to do what's good.
Shame on them,
And if I have to deal with injuries, I want them how we have them. Had them at the beginning of the year. Going through a little bit of nagging stuff, but we're still putting up ugly W's. That's all I care about. Would you rather have some of these teams, and I don't wish injury on anybody, haven't had any injury or very little, that are undefeated type teams, if you know what I mean. What if you lost your quarterback, in the last 5 games, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you need to live in our shoes. You're bragging about how you beat us. Your coach is in the tunnel saying, how about them Eagles? Beat us with the backup quarterback. It was a 3-point game with 5 minutes to go in the game.
I'm not gonna lie though, man. I like the Eagles' backup quarterback. I like Minshew. I think he's a really good quarterback. So
that's all well and good, but Minshew's not going to run the ball, and he's not a threat like Jalen Hurts is.
That's true. That's true. But he's pretty good passing.
He's okay. It's not good. That's not get too worked up over Garner Minshew and Captain Stash.
I got that stash going, man. That stash.
Anyway,
game.
take Cowboys.
He's got the Tom Selleck thing going.
Hit the like button. Thanks.
Take Cowboy. I appreciate
that.
Tay. Man, I appreciate all you guys. If you guys are coming in here.
Zeke doesn't take any time off. Yeah, I agree, but sometimes you got to be smart about it.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly. Right before the bye week, I think it's a really good game. We need him for Green Bay. Chicago, I think we can. I mean, I'm not saying that Chicago can't do it. There's always a recipe every single week. You see with these games, it's a week-to-week type of league. We've seen this so much.
It's a week-to-week league. Anything can happen. But the good teams don't lose at home going into the bye against Chicago.
Is it just me, or since they added this last game, it's so long. The season feels long.
Yeah, that's why I was telling Mark, I think it was a week or two ago, I was telling him, I said, that last game may mean something, but that's so far away. There's a lot, that can happen, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to look at the next. I'm just trying to look at the landscape only like a couple yards at a time. I'm looking at this game and the next couple games. I'm just looking at it like I'm where I wanted to be, man. If we win tomorrow, I'm right where I wanted to be. And Green Bay is not as good as I thought. I think we can win that game, and I think that Minnesota game is big. It is. It could be, for the best record, the second best record. I didn't really get into their schedule, but we got some exciting games coming up, and then with the holidays, once Thanksgiving hits, it's from there on out. It's white knuckle time. You need to bring it every week. So we're not there yet. Let's just get a dub tomorrow.
Yeah, Glimmerman's right. Bryan was saying this earlier. If we can get ahead, it kind of pushes Chicago to be one-dimensional, and we all know that one dimension is not what they have. Their one dimension is running the ball, getting up ahead, and allowing them to get into the running game. And obviously, that's has been in the past. I'm not saying again Jonathan is going to be the answer, but I do like the piece that gets put in there. Because it is something to his strength. And I think Dan Quinn, he likes to attack, but I think this is a really good guy to help plug in that middle part. You're still going to have your weakness on the outside. I think your corners, or of course, they need to kind of step up. And I feel you as well, too. I really think that they can. I think this defense can really dominate in this game. And so I'm interested to see how they're going to do, if they're going to kind of just put a lid on this whole mobile quarterback thing. But I think that's always going to be in the back pocket of people that are going to talk about this defense until they start dominating in that part of the ball, too. What are we talking about here? What are you smirking about? Pin those wars. Oh, pin those ears. Yeah, pin those ears.
No, I'm laughing at Mark Holmes' comment.
They are high tech.
We have a tough stretch after the Green Bay, Minnesota, and the Giants. Yeah, that's why I said this is our tough stretch. We have to get the dub tomorrow. I think we're going to go into Green Bay. Me and Mike McCarthy. I think we're going to win that game. Mm-hmm. I mean, you basically having 2 weeks.
Now here's
Minnesota game's going to be tough, but the Giants is at home.
Let's real quickly
to the Giants on Thanksgiving.
Let's real quickly jump on the other side. Like if this defense, obviously the defense I think that's the only part of the Chicago Bears, because when you look at the defense, who are they led by? They're led by a defensive coordinator that did shut this offense up in Indianapolis. What was it, a year ago or so? Couple years ago. So I mean, that defense coordinator does know how to put pressure on and how to attack this offense. So I mean, and when you look at Kellen Moore not being that innovative from what Jason Garrett was doing, that's the part where I think people could get as well scared. But I think the talent is just overwhelmingly different, and I think that's what you're going to see shine. And yeah, I mean, you may have some game plan and stuff, but I think Dan Quinn, kind of the perfect example of that, is that you can have a great defense, but if you don't have a coach that can put them in the right plays, I think you're gonna they could be all over the place. And so when you're looking at this defense, you're seeing a combination of both, where you're seeing the coaching and of course the personnel that's able to go with it. So there's a lot of stars on this defense. What do you think? I was going to jump more into the secondary. Who do you think starts in the secondary as the corners? Because I was curious about this. You still think
it's going to be Bland?
Obviously, you think Bland's going to be on the opposite of Diggs, or you think Bland's going to be your slot corner?
No, it'll be Diggs and Anthony Brown.
You think Anthony Brown will be out there? Okay.
Yeah, he's going to start. And I think you'll see Kelvin Joseph get some play for Anthony Brown, and then you'll see Bland in the slot. That's what I think. I don't mind seeing Anthony Brown in the slot either. Anthony Brown needs to turn his game around. If we're going to go anywhere, we need Anthony Brown to be Anthony Brown. He's not hurt. Yeah. He just needs to be a little more aggressive. Jordan Lewis is the guy. Every time I said something bad about him, he would have an interception. So he's just one of those guys. He's a good player for the team, but I think we could upgrade. So it's like, I don't really, it's a shame he's out for the year. He's done. so he ain't coming back. So we need somebody to step up.
I agree.
So now's the time.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get these guys in the game.
Yeah, if I was honestly to bet on anybody, I would definitely be with you in the sense of putting the Bland be that guy. Anthony Brown has been always the question mark within this defense, and I think you're right. Unfortunately, that's an X factor. Whether you're attacking Anthony Brown and he's all of a sudden in a groove where he's swatting balls away, getting interceptions. We've seen that Anthony Brown where he's made you change your narrative about him. It only lasts for like a couple of weeks, and then you're right back into this Anthony Brown, pitchforks and fire, everything, showing up at his door. So, I mean, I'm with a lot of those because I've not ever really been a fan of Anthony Brown. But for his, what was he, 6th round pick, 7th? He's definitely better than what you normally get in that spot. So, but when you're,
I think Bland was a free agent. No. Maybe he was a 7.
I want to say he was also.
What's up, Captain Taki? What's going on, buddy? Let's see here.
So what's everybody talking about? Yeah, I think
Mark Hudson. Do y'all think Hankins will play this week? Yeah, Hankins will play this week.
I think so too.
There's no doubt in my mind. He has to play.
I think, and I think it's going to be a step down for him. I think if you look at what the Raiders have asked for of him, I mean, he's been a majority of those snaps in there. So what the Dallas Cowboys will ask of him, he'll get some rest time, and so I'm hoping that means he'll those times that he's in there will be like a Dorrance Armstrong where they mean shit, like, oh, Dorrance made a sack because he's not great at the running defense, but he's making sacks. So all of a sudden he's getting fumbles, and then
right.
Third down, 3rd and 1. Jonathan gets a right there. He just holds the line up. So I mean, you just need some of those plays to really see his effectiveness in this game. And I think it's just a great piece. Again, I'm not saying he's going to be the backbone that all of a sudden now we can put a franchise around, but he's definitely improves what you had already there. So sorry about that. I kind of ramble on there.
Sorry. Glimmerman says, "Where's Peters?"
He's a backup.
He's a backup. I think what I've come to realize, and we all get caught up in the hype of these media outlets saying, "Oh, Jason Peters." Listen, he's a mentor to Tyler Smith, and he's a backup. He's obviously not in the best of shape. He's 40 years old.
Jack is saying
he's
Peters
a good
is on
insurance
the injury.
policy.
Yeah, he's saying he's on the injury report. I didn't see that. I don't know.
Yeah, he's still hurt.
Is that chest?
Chest.
Is it chest?
So, yeah, he's still hurting. It is what it
I
is.
wonder.
It's a good backup.
Yeah, I wonder if it was more of a challenge in the blink. It was like, hey, old man, I bet you I could bench press more, and then I bet just
Yeah, right.
the tail of the macho-ness of the thing.
Peters was on injured report. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, everybody's on that same thing in the sense of Anthony Brown. I mean, it's definitely something we need to improve on. I mean, it just, to me, when we're talking about trades, I think we all can agree that when Dallas is sitting there going, oh, well, we're looking into, they're not doing shit. And when they said, no, we're not looking at anything, they have a trade in mind. And it's somebody that you're not going to realize.
I think there's another shoe to drop here.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if there wasn't another move made for this reason only. Look at the San Francisco 49ers. Everybody, I don't want to be too dirty, but everybody got so excited over, what they did regarding the running back out of Carolina. All right. They lost the game. They got embarrassed at home. Now, I think they might slide into a playoff, but they're not what they were last year. They're just not. Green Bay, nah.
Yeah, they're really missing that number one receiver.
I mean, somebody's got to win that division, but let's hope it's the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks, man, they're playing good. And the Rams and the Cardinals are not. Look at Tampa Bay. Our hardest competition is probably in our own division. So, and we already beat the other team. That's what, 5-1 or 6-1. We already beat them.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
that one loss.
We know we can hang with the Eagles. We were within 3 points of them with 5 minutes to go in the game with a backup quarterback. So
that was playing.
We know we can hang.
Yeah, and Mark asking, do y'all see Dallas making any moves before the trade deadline? Yeah,
that's what I mean. I think there's going to be like another move. I don't know what it is. I don't really care if it's I would like to see something. Come on, man, let's do something. We're close. Let's steal the headline. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
No, exactly. I mean, I do want to see something too. I wouldn't, a lot of people are clamoring for the wide receiver position, which I can understand. You don't have a big star here, but I'm with a lot of people. I don't want to give up a whole lot to get that guy. I mean, when you look at again an Odell
Depending
Beckham
on who
type
it is, though.
guy, he's not ready now, so he's not really going to be available for us now. So I could see, if there's something later on, I could definitely see that. That would be a big impact going into the playoffs and stuff. But you still need some time to kind of get some use to the quarterback. So you do have some receivers and quarterbacks that all of a sudden start getting on a groove. So there's always that possibility, but you don't want to rest everything on that. But yeah, I'm with you. I think they could definitely still do a move. I don't know where it could be. Sometimes with these guys, tight, whether it's a tight end or a wide receiver, I think you need another weapon. I could see maybe even a running back to kind of relieve Zeke if he has to step out, like we were talking about with Rico. So, I mean, there's some possibilities. I just don't think it's going to be like some kind of blockbuster trade, or at least I'm hoping not,
Yeah. Well, we have a couple days. I'm not expecting much, but I would like for them to do something. I think if they made a trade, it would be for a receiver. I really do. I don't think they would do much of anything else.
Yeah.
It would be for a receiver. But we'll see. I'm more interested, like you, not giving up anything big, and taking a flyer on an OBJ.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a guy that we need to get involved, and that's Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup needs to get involved. He's a playmaker. CD needs to get going. I think you'll see that, with Dak back. I think you'll see that. So, it's and Mark Hutt. Mark just says, like, what about Cedric Wilson? He's doing nothing in Miami.
Just the paycheck that comes with it. I think the paycheck that comes with him.
But yeah, that's the thing. Maybe next year, I don't think he's going to see the light of day at the end of that contract. You look to see Cedric back, man.
Yeah,
he would be a great fit. To me, he's Noah Brown on steroids. I like him better than Noah. So,
Samuel Rowe, Gallup not getting separation. That is true. I
he's
mean,
saying, yeah.
You love Josh there, but at the same time, he's right in that one. He's not getting separation. I think a lot of these receivers are not.
Separation.
Yeah, I don't think these receivers in general are getting a lot of separation. So
he's a guy you get a one-on-one and you throw the ball up to.
Yeah, and he usually gets open at the last possible second. To make that catch. So I think that's the strength of his game, the sideline, letting him do that play. So I mean, we could see that because Mark was saying also that other than a receiver or else, they could pick just somebody. They pick up somebody, get somebody because your offense is kind of you need something to get a little excited about, new weapon. Maybe that's what San Francisco.
But I don't know what I want. If
So,
it's OBJ, I'll be happy with that.
You know what I want? I want some scores of what you guys think that this game is going to look like, so we can go ahead and start writing some of this stuff down. I want to see what you guys predict. Maybe what do you guys predict also while you put your scores down? What do you predict? Maybe something special to happen. Maybe Turpin finally gets his touchdown of the season. Maybe Bland brings one back for a touchdown. Does one of our defensive linemen actually get 3 to 4 sacks in this game? I mean, what do you think is the bold statement if you had to put something on this game? Whether you could even be on, especially the haters, you're more than welcome to tell us on the other side what will happen. Oh, Dak will throw 3 interceptions. Give me what your prediction of the score is as we are about to talk about the score and what we think the final outcome is going to be. Give it time.
Yeah,
my internet's been iffy here or there, just to let you know. I've been it's just showing me some red because obviously Comcast is a pain in the ass sometimes. But one thing you're going to like is I'm really liking where this offense has the potential. Even again, this defense of Chicago, don't get me wrong, it definitely has the potential to be a problem. But when you look at the offenses that they've had problems with during the season, I think this is definitely one of those offenses that they could also continue to have those problems. So I got to give them credit for what they did to the Patriots and on Primetime to finally do that and on a primetime show. I mean, good for them, man. Good for them. I just happened to, by that point, I had to look back at the game because honestly, I kind of just was going to bed by that point because it just didn't seem like a lot was going on. So Jack says, I'm saying we hit 30 for the first time this season. Dallas 34-17. Ooh, you're getting close to me, kind of there. Yeah, I'm liking that. I'm liking that score. Doubling what they have. What's the over under on this one? Do you know?
Yeah, the over under is 42.5.
Wow.
It started out Dallas -10. It's gone down to Dallas -9.5. So it's Dallas -9.5 and 42.5. Listen, Dallas has been good at against the number this year, getting points and laying points.
Angelica says it's gonna be 30-17, so very close there. Real Deal says it's going to be a close game.
Stay tuned.
12-6. I'm curious, Real Deal, is that going to be just a game
Real
of field
deal.
goals? Is it just going to be a field goal game, or is there somebody or field goals missing?
It's 12-6.
Is that's what's happening? Is just
Mark
everybody
Hudson.
just missing field goals because or everybody making field goals? That's why I'm more curious on your score. Mark, 31.
Hey, Mark, stay
okay.
tuned for my score.
Oh man, look at it. Phil says Pollard goes for 200. Now, is that a 200 on the ground, or is that a combination with the receiving as well? I like that as well. Glimmerman says Dallas 31, Bears 10. Man, he is right there, close to me. He's right there. He's close to me there. Mike says 28-14 boys, with Parsons getting a strip sack and a touchdown. I like it. I like that.
Yeah.
Setting the tone. I think that's where you see
What do
a
you
lot
think,
of this defense.
Phil?
I think, of course, I feel confident in the boys this week. Obviously, from the beginning of last game, we felt good. I felt good going into the game, and then they just kind of stumbled all over the place. So I think within this offense and how Kellen Moore can play, obviously there's always that potential. But I feel like Dallas can really kind of put it to Chicago early, and I think the final score, I don't think Chicago scores a touchdown. And I think it's ended up being 34-9, where I think they score some field goals, but I think this defense kind of clamps down and can do its thing.
We're all around the same.
So I think we're pretty close to that. I mean, this is of course the NFL there, but I kind of feel that. And in my prediction, honestly, I think we can get like 7 to 8 sacks combined in the defense. I'm not sure if the interceptions will follow. If he's going to be foolish enough to just throw it up.
I think he's going to throw a couple up. I don't know that we'll see that kind of sacks just because of his mobility.
Yeah.
You may see a couple intentional groundings, that type of deal.
So you think he'll throw it away
I think
to
you'll see
avoid
2
those.
interceptions.
Okay.
Yeah, but
that's my full prediction, man. That's why I feel it. That's how I feel right there. So if we can get close to it, like that Turpin. I was feeling Turpin's touchdown, and then he longest one. I'll take that.
The Real Deal, making field goals. Dallas needs more help at receiver.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, man. You're not wrong, man. Especially,
but listen, I'm gonna go into the box now. The mailbox has the answer. It's just a fact, right? But I would say I feel very confident, and by everybody's scores, I don't see an issue. I mean, it seems like we're all on the same page here. So I like it. Mark Hudson's gonna like this too. This was already written and in the box, so there was no hanky panky. I got Dallas 31, Bears 13. Dallas covers the 9.5, and the over 42.5.
And Mike Aldana, he says Fields will do the RPOs and I agree. If you're going to attack it, you have to do that. But the problem is that he doesn't have the arm to really attack this defense, and he doesn't have the receiving core to make the rest of the way work. I think the Eagles do have a better receiving core than a lot of the NFL. So even with you have an average quarterback, when you do throw the ball, I mean, you got a 50-50 type of chance, I think a lot of the times. Even when you're wide open, I think he's still 50-50. But, I mean, against these linebackers, I think the linebackers are going to have to step up if you're going to see those RPOs. So it's going to rely a lot on the linebackers. But when you get a big guy like Jonathan in there, you're allowing your linebackers to kind of make plays and stuff. So that's where I like the move. I don't expect him to make a whole lot of splash. Whether he's stopping the line from crashing forward and he's allowing other people to make plays, that's what defensive tackle is supposed to do. So I'm interested to see if he's able to affect this running game that is obviously it can be a weakness for this defense. So. So Hurts, Brown, average. Let's see. Darlene says a $35, 14. So she's saying, of course, 35 to 14 Dallas. She's like, yeah, it's money time. That's what she's saying. She's changing Dallas to dollars because it's money time for Dallas. I like it. That's what it was trying to do. The autocorrect was trying to let you understand. This is what you actually meant. She says he's going to. What is she saying? He's going to help this team in ways, and the people don't. New players we get from the Raiders, he's going to have to help our team. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jack Meeker. How much does Damone Clark actually play? I don't think he's going to play much, but we need to see him.
Yeah,
it's a perfect opportunity to get up some snaps before the bye. This dude, if you watch him at LSU, this dude. LSU is, like the number 7
score, the linebacking team,
the number 18, things like that. Brian Broadus was talking about it. He said they don't give them numbers out unless you're that guy. And Damone Clark is that guy. He was a beast. He would have been a first-round pick if he didn't, get hurt. So, just know that.
Yeah, I mean, it depends.
If he gets in there, you're going to be happy.
Yeah, I mean, if this offense can get up and this defense can put it, you may see some more snaps from him, getting some other guys in there in the secondary as well, too. I mean, yeah, it depends on what happens within this game. So, I mean, I don't see a lot of snaps for Haskins, but I think in running situations, I definitely don't think they'll shy away from putting him in there because – I'm a big Osa Odigizua fan, but, he has not been, performing when it comes to that side. So, and obviously, the question on everybody's mind is, of course, Neville Gallimore. So, we'll see how this game unfolds. I know I'm going to be watching, and there's going to be times, obviously, I'm pissed. We're going to be texting back and forth. At some point, we'll do the half game stuff. We're not sure when we'll pull that in. But because it's hard to predict exactly what time do we go on as well too. So and you got so many other guys as well. You got Mark doing his live channel. So again, we will be back the day after on Monday at 7:00. So I appreciate all you guys coming through. Do you want to say anything else to the guys before we break away?
I would say let's enjoy this week. We got the bye week. We know that sucks. There's no Dallas football next week. Let's enjoy the bye week. Let's hope our Cowboys. I'm telling you, I think we're gonna feel good going into the bye. I just feel like Dak's gonna have a real good game. He's gonna, maybe 280, 2 touchdowns, maybe a running touchdown. I did see the comments about running with Dak. Dak's gonna have to be mobile going forward. You just can't sit. I mean, especially with this offensive line, it's good but not great. We've got a rookie on the left side. We've got Steele who can beat on the right side if you have the quarterback just sitting back on the spot, just tapping the ball. I don't want to see that too much. Get the ball out or roll out. Give Dak an option. I think Dak is better when he's worked up a sweat and he's running the ball a little bit. So that's where I'm at. Let's enjoy the game because next week we don't have a game for the boys. So.
Yeah, I agree. My biggest thing going into this game is I want to see Dallas show up. That's what the problem is, man. They don't show up in the beginning. There's kind of we have to wait, warm up into the game. I don't know what they need to do differently in their warm-ups, but they really need to hit the ground running. I'm not saying that this team, can't get behind, but I'm just saying you can't get into a habit of just being stale and thinking that you're going to be able to hang in there because, yeah, your defense is awesome and your defense is keeping you in games, but that doesn't mean you test them every single week. They need to rest as well too, and you guys are the second show. You guys are the backup when it comes to what this defense does. So I think you need to back them up and keep them off the field, let them rest, and run the ball. So I mean, we're going to see what Kellen does. We're going to see some of this and see if this defense can stop a mobile quarterback. There's so many things going into this game. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about what happens, the outcome, because obviously it's a week-to-week league. So, again, guys, I appreciate you guys coming through. All of you guys, I would name every single one of them, but by the time I start rushing, I always mess up one of your guys' names, and then Brian makes fun of me for the next week. So, I appreciate you guys coming through, and I appreciate you guys rewatching as well. So, and we're going to come back, of course, on Monday on 7. So, thank you guys for coming through, and we'll close it with this.
Hey! We know each other. He's a friend from work.
What you do, you're like a little screw loose type of guy, and that's how I am. So, I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you? You. No, not me, you. Yes, I am you. Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
GameTime Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here.
Cool name. Superpowers?
Broadcasting from the illustrious Jobu Studio.
Come on, are you going to tell me who that is?
Primetime Phil, and of course my co-host, GameTime Bryan.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this place is going to explode. $100,000, I don't even need to hear it.